Hey there, Amy.
Yeah. Well, no, it's falling on the snake. So I can. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying. When my legs fell asleep, yes.
Aloha.
Everybody's here. Let me switch my camera to them. Well, I'll just switch to the so you can see who's here.
Awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't need to switch cameras, did I? You can see everybody there. I forgot.
I can, yeah. Grab water really quick.
You getting more snow there?
Mhm. Yeah, a bunch today.
It's only October. Yeah, it's terrible.
Can you hear everybody?
Yeah, I actually can hear pretty good. Yeah.
But she can't see us.
She can.
I can. I see you. Hi. I don't know everybody's name, but Allison and Benjamin. Aw. Oh, the doggy.
This is so like family. Everybody gathered around the television set.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I should play, instead of my picture, I should put a picture of a fireplace with stockings.
Oh, it's too early for that.
Okay,
All
whatever
right.
you just said, I missed it because the Wi-Fi. I don't know. I think it's on my end. 1 second. Let me play with some things.
It's gonna wait till after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I could do a pumpkin with candles inside, I guess.
I hate how they get earlier and earlier every year.
This is already up in Thomas Square.
Well, I mean, if I were going to put a pumpkin in with candles, that would be for Halloween 2027. We've already done 25 and 26 last year. All right. Well, it's the top of the hour, so welcome everybody. Let me see if I can play a bell for Amy there. All right, welcome. It's so generous of everybody to be here, especially after all the technical troubles we've been having. I think we might finally have straightened most of them out, so we're kind of pleased at that. Let's see, before we can do that, let's get out of self mode. Does everybody know everybody? I think everybody here is a regular, but we could just take a moment to say hi to each other. I'm Bob. Just get comfortable with the crowd around us. Amy's over here on the TV. Nice. And let's take a nice deep cleansing breath in and just settle in for announcements. I invite everyone to set their intention for being here tonight as well. My intention is, as always, my friends generally tell me I'm a nicer person when I meditate. I can only imagine how off the rails I get when I don't. So that's my intention. All right, let's do a little housekeeping. I think everybody knows where the restroom is and is familiar with the protocol with the door lock. If we do need to unlock the door, just come get me or Trin, or Amy, but that won't be much help. And it's also very generous of you to be here for all the other members of the Sangha, but it's been really generous of Trin and the Bodhi Tree Hawaii to give us this space to host this and allow us to be here. So once again, there's a box out front if you would wish to contribute dana to the Bodhi Tree. I'm sure that would be appreciated. You don't feel it's necessary. There's no charge for this. But if it strikes your heart as the right thing to do, I think they'd appreciate it. And wow, that's it. I'm going to switch to just Amy, and I think it's time to do a little stretching.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my camera so that I can stand up. So I encourage you all, if you feel comfortable, to stand.
Amy?
Otherwise, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, no, I'm losing my mouse for some reason, so I can't switch the scene.
Okay.
It's going to take a while, so if you'd like to, they can see you.
Oh, yeah, and I can see them fine, too, so, yeah, just, okay. All right, no worries. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, if you want, finding yourself in a standing position. If that doesn't feel wise, then allowing yourself to come up with creative ways to do whatever we do sitting. Turn off my camera for a second so I can move too. Okay, do you hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Excellent. So let's just start with maybe allowing the feet to come off the ground, swaying back and forth a little. Maybe like rubbing the feet into the surface a bit. The ground beneath us. And taking a deep, slow breath. And as you do so, allowing the shoulders to rise and fall. We'll do that a few more times. And as you finish your last exhale, sweeping the arms up to the sky, reaching out along, feeling the stretch, and then let's go ahead and reach up to the sky. If it feels okay, letting the head kind of tilt upward as we reach, and then letting the arms fall alongside slowly. The exhale if possible. We'll do that again, and this time we're going to really be mindful of every movement of the arm as they rise up and stretch out, feeling those arms moving through the air, and then the full body and back stretching up to the sky. And on an exhale, releasing down those arms, just feeling those arms. And doing this one more time in your own timing, staying present with each movement. And when you find your arms landed, maybe lowering the gaze or closing the eyes, take some breath. Here and now. Nowhere to go, no one to be, nothing to do. We'll now begin to do some twists of the torso we've done before, allowing the arms to twist around back behind us. Start off slow, the movement back and forth. And slowly picking up speed a little. Or a lot. You can allow the body to twist and arms to tap along the back of the shoulder if that feels right. And then bringing it a little higher to reach around over the shoulder and higher back. Here and now. And beginning to also slow the movement down. Once again, allowing yourself to just pause in your standing posture. Feeling the impact of that movement on the body. We'll now begin to rub our palms together and create some heat. And we'll slowly spread apart our hands and then bring them together. See if you can feel allowing the hands together with this chi ball. Seeing if you can bring it a little closer, further. Allowing yourself to feel the energy between these hands. And then whatever size you want to make your chi ball, we're going to begin to do a figure 8 with the chi ball. We guide the ball up and around in the form of a figure. And you can keep your palms close together as you do this, or you can begin to make it larger and larger. It's up to you what feels right. So you make this figure 8 with the chi ball. You can slow it down, speed it up, listening to the body and the mind, what feels right for this movement. And when you're ready, bringing the ball back to the center. And once again, kind of just feeling, making it small and feeling for that energy there. And then we'll go ahead and close up the G ball and rub it into our fingers. Again, creating heat. And now we'll go ahead and spread all that chi over our face, down our head, shoulders, our stomach, your body, chest, legs, spreading that chi ball all over. That chi all the way down to the feet. Now let's go ahead and place a hand on the belly. It can be the upper belly or the lower belly. One hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. Remembering that intention when she said a little earlier with Bob, or creating a new one. And in a moment, as I ring the bell on my end, we're going to make our way to a position for the first meditation, first seated meditation. Unless, of course, you want to do meditation standing, that's always an option.
Oh, she's got one.
And as you all make your way in a grounded position, I'm going to adjust the camera again. Thank you all. Be right back with you. Apparently my bear is going to make an appearance in the Zoom today. Okay. Okay, thank you for your patience. So when you're ready, you can go ahead, if you haven't already, to lower your eyes. Closing the eyes or lowering the gaze. And just letting the mind repeat a few times, here and now. the gift of letting go of our busy mind, the gift of choosing time and time again to come back to this moment. Balancing energy and rest. Wakefulness and stillness. Checking in with our energy. Is our energy supporting our intention for these next few minutes? Does the mind feel safe enough in this exact moment to rest in stillness?
We seem to have lost Amy's feed. She dropped out, so we spent the last few minutes in silence. I've been texting her to see if everything's okay, because it seems fine on our end. But we'll now take about a 7-minute break, and I'll ring the bell to come back, and we'll continue on. In the meantime, I'll try and see if I can get her back. That was perfect. Amy, are you there?
I'm here.
Well, I don't know what happened. But-
It's just another little thing for, I think it's on my end to figure out. I think I went into like screensaver mode and then it dropped me. So sorry about that.
Well, we sat in silence, so it was fine. You led us wonderfully into a silent meditation.
Excellent. You guys missed like the world's best meditation though. I think you would have all been enlightened, unfortunately, but that's okay. Next time.
Thanks, Amy. Glad you made it back. All right.
Amy, I see you have your flannel shirt on,
Did you hear that?
Alaska style.
I don't know that she can hear you without a microphone. She can hear sounds or
I heard something.
yeah. Richard said you had your flannel shirt on Alaska style. Yeah, that's why we have the passer. That's why we have the pass around mic later, because the lavalier will pick up some noise, but it won't pick up voices from where you are.
Yeah, some of your voices like transfer over here than others too. So yeah. All right, I'll let you go ahead and do your talk, Bob. Thank you all.
All right. So, what did it take to bring Amy back? Perseverance, right? We were both trying. She was trying to get back on. And that's oddly enough the topic tonight, which is virya, which is energy and sustaining energy. I might be pronouncing that wrong if anyone's a Pali scholar. No, virya, the Pali word. Might be wirya too. Sometimes the V is a little like Hawaiian. But what it is in Pali is energy, effort, and diligence. And this is the next of the 10 paramis, the perfections that we've been talking about. We've already gone through generosity and ethics and wisdom, and I don't even remember what else we talked about, but we're talking about this tonight. And oddly enough, it's also part of many other lists. Buddhists love lists. There are many lists, and many of the lists have the same things in them, perhaps in a different order. So this is maybe the fifth of the paramis, but it's also part of the 5 spiritual faculties, which are saddha, or faith. And that's not faith in something we don't see. That's faith in the fact that the practice works because we've seen it work in our lives, so we continue to expect it to work. Energy, virya, which we're talking about tonight, mindfulness, or sati, concentration, samadhi, both topics we've talked about, and wisdom, panya, which is what we talked about last time we talked. Amy brought it up last week, and I talked about it the week before. And it's also part of the 7 factors of awakening. The first one being, ready, sati, mindfulness. We're going back to the last list, like I said. And then investigations of the Dhammas, so study of the Dhammas. Energy, virya, which we're talking about. Joy or rapture, which is piti. Tranquility. Concentration, again, samadhi, found in the last list. And equanimity, which is the 4th of the divine abodes, or Brahma Viharas, which are loving kindness, metta, karuna, compassion, mudita, just sympathetic or empathetic joy, and upekkha, or equanimity. And the idea here is not energy in the sense of scattered, I had too much coffee, right? This is the slow, persevering energy. There's a wonderful poem by, well, it's really a very short one. It's by Isa, and it's, "O snail, climb Mount Fuji, but slowly, slowly." And we can imagine this snail going up the side of a mountain ever so slowly, but with that perseverance, with that energy, with that goal in mind. And that, in a sense, is how we pursue the Dhamma. And that's how we pursue this practice. There's another sutta reference, and the Buddha was saying, "My energy shall not be relaxed so long as I have not attained what can be attained by human strength." And of course, we're thinking of getting off the wheel of achieving enlightenment or awakening or nibbana. But again, it's not that superhuman, I'm going to burn myself out doing this. It's that I'm going to be the snail climbing up Mount Fuji. You know, I'm going to take it one step at a time. This isn't about burnout, because it's really easy to burn ourselves out on things. I was talking with some other friends of mine about how many projects we're in, and it can be really tiring. And it takes the effort of a snail and not of a sprinter to get through some of these things. It's the quiet courage to keep practicing, even when the path is unclear. I don't know about you, but sometimes the path isn't clear for me, and I'll sit and meditate. That's what I try and do. It's become that sort of a habit. So in daily life, how would we practice? It's really, we can think about this in terms of our practice. We can sit here and say, well, I'm going to sit for 20 minutes regardless of what happens, whether my mind is scattered, whether it's a perfect meditation, whether I hate the guy leading meditation or I love that gal leading meditation, whatever it is. But none of this is really that useful if we don't translate it into the rest of our lives as well, which is also part of the Dhamma, part of the path, part of how we are aware in the world. And I think one of the most important ones is showing up with presence and care for others in our life. And I fail at that regularly. I don't know if any of you have noticed any tension at our sits with the tech and with Amy, but I've been guilty of not showing up with the presence and care that I should have. And it's not intentional. It's not like I set out to be that way, but I get wrapped up in something and I start not listening to what the other person is saying. And that leads to the beginning of ignorance because I don't know what they're saying. And the end result of that is delusion. I mean, I don't think I'm Napoleon or anything like that. But what happens is my mind gets fixated on some idea that just isn't true. And so that kind of thing happens. We had a wonderful talk the other day. And we both sort of decided, set the intention to do better at listening, especially me, and hearing what the other person is actually saying and not what I think they're saying. But guess what? That takes energy. That takes perseverance. That takes reminding myself that I'm the snail climbing Mount Fuji and that it's not a sprint and I can just listen once and okay, I got it, I'm good. It's about being present in every moment of this. It's also about offering our voice when necessary, but also our silence. Sometimes that speaks a whole lot louder than anything we can say, and it's more meaningful, and it's hard. I don't know about you, but I'm a mammal. I like to chirp and chatter and, squeak and do all that stuff, yeah. It's like, sometimes it's really difficult just to sit and listen. And I think Amy and I graciously gave each other that gift because we sat there and listened to each other in silence and didn't speak until after that. But that again, snail, right? Climbing Mount Fuji takes effort. serving the moment, but not for recognition, but for ripening. I love that word, ripening. And we're serving. That's really kind of why we're here, right? If I'm up here for my ego, this is not a really good thing to do. And I've got too many friends in here who call me out on stuff anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. But it does creep in sometimes. Well, what are we doing? We're serving the moment. We're serving each other. I've talked a lot about generosity and how generous it is for us to be here. But if we go back to that first Dhamma talk I said, I also talked about generosity may not really be generosity if we're expecting to get something in return. And it's transactional. Then it's not given from our heart. And so if I'm up here acting like I'm generous and I'm expecting something, I'm not using my energy wisely. I'm using my energy to serve self and selfing. And that's probably not a place I want to go. So I love that idea of serving the moment, right? Not for recognition, but for ripening. And the other thing that we need energy in, according to the suttas and the Buddha, is in the four right exertions, the four things that we practice, the four things we do. And the first is preventing unwholesome states and abandoning arisen unwholesome states. So when things arise that are unwholesome, we just let them go if we can. Cultivating wholesome states. And that's what we're doing, is cultivating. This is growing. This is tilling the earth, planting seeds, watching them rise. This isn't going to the grocery store and picking up produce in the produce aisle. This is that whole act. And I've worked on ranches and farms, and it's really hard work. And you have to do it every day, and you have to be mindful of what you're doing. And that's snail climbing Mount Fuji. And finally, maintaining arisen wholesome states. And so when I'm talking about the reforged relationship I have with Amy, we have to maintain that. I have to maintain that. That's not something to be looked at lightly. It's not something to be abandoned. It's going to take snail climbing Mount Fuji. I just love that. I've got to go get a picture of a snail climbing Mount Fuji now. So it's not just striving. It's wholeheartedness in doing this. It's the energy that arises when we align with what matters, even when we don't understand it all that well. And I'll be honest, I don't understand it all that well. There's a wonderful poem which was written about love, but I think it speaks to this as well. I'm going to read that now. And it's by, I believe, a Polish poet, Czesław Miłosz, but it's probably much different. I wish our friend were here. She's from Poland, so she would know exactly how to pronounce it. Let me see if I can do this. Love. Love means to look at yourself the way one looks at distant things. For you are only one thing among many. And whoever sees that way heals his heart, without knowing it, from various ills. A bird and a tree say to him, friend. Then he wants to use himself and things so that they stand in the glow of ripeness. It doesn't matter whether he knows what he serves. Who serves best doesn't always understand. And in many ways, to look at ourselves the way one looks at distant things is an essential part of this. When we think about non-duality and what self really means in a Buddhist thing, we can look at that as a distant thing, and we can simply be present and serve with that energy, with that virya. A bird and a tree then can say to us, friend. And I think Amy and I have both talked here about talking to trees ourselves. That's a regular thing. I often talk to lizards as well, by the way. In the Dhammapada, it says, you yourselves must strive. The Buddhas only point the way. This isn't a gift. The teachings are a gift. We've been gifted with the teachings, but it's not like we're touched magically. This takes work. This takes effort. This takes perseverance. And it doesn't mean we're struggling all the time like Sisyphus to push the rock up the hill. There's periods where we let the earth lie fallow, where we let it recover, and there's times we throw ourselves into it. But the snail isn't going to get to the top of Mount Fuji if it doesn't keep going. So we practice. We show up. We offer our voice, our silence, our presence, not because we always know where this is going to end up. We have an idea. We're told, yeah, we can achieve awakening. I have no idea what that actually means. We're going to be enlightened. Okay. What the heck does that mean? And we'll achieve nibbana at the end of this. Yeah, okay. I have no clue what that means, but I think we're gifted with moments of it. I think we're gifted with moments of enlightenment, moments of awakening, and moments of nibbana. One of Graham White, I think it was, his Taste the Dhamma. He was in Sri Lanka at a temple, and he was staring at a flower, and a monk came up to him and said, tasted the Dhamma, because he was so enraptured by the beauty of that moment. To Be of Use by Marge Percy. The people I love best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums. But they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. Reflect on effort as devotion, not just endurance, but love in motion. Let's meditate for a few minutes. Just remember, each of our breaths is a small act of courage and perseverance. Let's settle into a relaxed and alert meditation posture. Just take in some deep cleansing breaths. And bring to mind our snail climbing Mount Fuji, but slowly, slowly. invite us to let our consciousness settle into our body, into our heart space, the same way our body is resting on our cushion or our chair, just lovingly held in place, connected to the earth, the ground beneath us, the Sangha around us, and the sky above. Allowing each breath to bring in fresh, clean energy. Each exhale, taking out the old, letting that breath go for the trees and the plants. And they, in turn, breathing in and exhaling oxygen for us. Constant, perseverant pattern. Let's allow ourselves to feel our body. Do we feel energetic? Are we worn down? Do some places feel energetic? Does a clean breath change the way I feel, my energy level? Just explore, allowing ourselves to be present with our body, with our breath. If we drift, just call ourselves back gently and feel that quiet energy of returning to our climb up Mount Fuji. allowing ourselves to be aware of the sounds around us. And the energy it takes to create them, to move the wind. Are we aware that we are surrounded by energy and indeed are part of it? As we approach the end of this sitting, I invite us to take a minute or two to reflect on perhaps some small task we might approach tomorrow. Meet it with full-hearted energy and what that might feel like. And what does it feel like in the body at this moment thinking about such an effort? It's not about success or failure. It's about perseverance and virya. I'd like to offer a poem before we end the sitting by Stanley Kunitz, The Layers. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own. I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides, from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind, as I am compelled to look before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling towards the horizon and the slow fires trailing from abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet I turn, exulting somewhat, with my will intact to go wherever I need to go, and every stone on the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me. Live in the layers, not in the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes. Thank you for your practice. Let me pull Amy back here. Oh, and the mouse is gone again. That's just incredible. Amy, I'm afraid I have lost the mouse.
Can they see me on the screen or?
No, I can't change the screen. I can't swap it. So you're just a voice.
No worries.
Does anybody have anything they'd like to comment on? You got it back. There we go. Anybody have any questions or comments? I can pull the mic out and get you going. I'm sorry?
I like the poem. Poem at the end.
Oh, the poem. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying you liked my phone, and I was going, what the heck?
You mentioned something about listening.
I'm sorry. Did you hear that? I'm trying to get the microphone set up so she can hear people. Yeah, I don't know where they.
You could, it was a short question, right? You could also repeat it if you don't want to worry about that.
I haven't heard it yet.
Oh, gotcha.
Hi, Amy.
Oh, hi.
So we had mentioned something about listening more, and that kind of struck a chord because that's actually one of my New Year's resolutions this year is to listen more. And so there's kind of a lot that's happened since this has been my New Year's resolution. So the first thing I noticed is that I am incapable of lying to myself. So if I used to kind of just be like, oh, whatever, I'm tired, but there's a bunch of people going out, so I'm going out anyway. And now I'm a bit more like, no, I'm tired. My body needs to rest. My body's telling me to rest. I'm listening to my body, and I'm going to stay in, and I'm going to catch up with my friends later and tell them that I love them, and I'll see them in a bit. Or maybe show up a little bit later after I take a nap. The second thing that happened was I noticed that people are also incapable of lying to me. So people also don't listen to themselves. And I've had a lot of moments where I'm sort of like, do you hear yourself talking? Because I do. It's very obvious what you're saying to me because I'm listening more than I've ever listened before. And so this is both a beautiful thing and a really ugly thing, depending on what it is they're saying. There might be a moment where I've ended an entire relationship because what they just said was something they didn't actually, they said the quiet part out loud. So yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts or takes on listening more? Pass the mic around to anybody else. Or does Amy want to comment on that?
Yeah. I feel like the complexity of what you're experiencing, I'm not going to beautifully attend to the nuance of all of it. But I do, for my own experiences with the moments in time where I feel maybe a pushing away of those in my life. I go through moments where I feel like maybe what's the skillful action here? Is the skillful action to let this person go from my life? And I've learned a little bit about myself in that process that there are times where I can do that very swiftly. And then there are times where I can not do that swift enough. And I think for myself a lot, I've been turning towards pausing when I hear someone say something that's tricky and reflecting how I know this myself, how I know what this feels like to be that person in that same way, and the causes and conditions that can lead a person to say such things. And then from there, I can, maybe allow myself to have compassion for the moments that I behaved in that way. And maybe I can allow some compassion for that person. They're usually when we say unskillful things, there's suffering going on under it. There's what's under it, that piece under it. And that doesn't mean that we won't choose to put a boundary up and not have this person in our life. It sometimes gives us a pause to see if what else could arise. If that person or inside of us we can forgive, or if they come back around and there's an amends. And so I don't know all the complexity of it. I just know that we're very complex humans, and I find that the more that my heart can kind of take in some of even the tricky stuff, taking it in and just feel it a little bit, the more that I can make wise choices when it comes to who's going to be in my life and who isn't. So, yeah. And thank you for sharing that. These are tough experiences.
I mean, I don't know.
I hope that was helpful.
That was very beautifully said. Anyone else?
So thank you so much for today. I'm so grateful to be here because I was not feeling well before I came. I locked myself out of the house, forgetting the key for the car. Fortunately, I had a key lock, or whatever you call that. So I was able to get that, and then my water bottle was spilled because it was open in my bag. So my bag got soaked. And I just talk about not being mindful. And I really felt what you shared about the snail from Mount Fuji. I lived in Japan for 3 years, so I saw Mount Fuji a lot. And I always thought, how do people go up there? But a lot of things came up for me when that image, and I don't know, maybe you can talk about it, a little bit about it, because the images that came up for me is today was my day off, and I had planned a list of things to do, and I mostly didn't do it. I did one thing, and I just feel like I wasted the whole day, and I was disappointed in myself. And then I thought about a bigger thing about my life, that here I am at this age, and what have I accomplished? And I started feeling bad about myself. But so a lot of those things came up, and I always thought it was a slow learner. But being a snail, I felt sort of firm. Like, hey, it's okay to be a snail. I don't always have to be the fastest insect or whatever that's going up to the top. And then the other thing that came up for me was social media or texting. So I'm in a group text with a group of women, and all of a sudden I saw these things about, oh my God, you shouldn't have said that. Oh my God. Well, and there was all this thing, and I felt lost in it because I think I missed part of it, or I didn't know where it was going. And I just thought, I got this urgency. I want to find out what did this woman say that offended someone else? Was I a part of it? And I just started getting crazy. And what I decided to do was delete everything. And I just said, stay in my lane. I don't care if it was something I did. Let me know if I didn't. I mean, crazy. Because I was so desperate to find out what was it, what happened. Doesn't matter. And so I really appreciate just being here and hearing you speak about things that you did, and I like the home a lot too.
Thank you for sharing. One of my favorite thoughts when the crazies come in comes from Joseph Goldstein. I've heard it many other places, but when those thoughts about, like, I have to know this or I have to do that, I've heard him talk a lot in his Dhamma talks about just asking himself, is this helpful? Is this mine? And letting it go. Because so much of that just isn't helpful. And if I can realize that, it makes it easier to let it go. And as far as being a success in life, thanks for sharing how you feel about that. I have continually failed at many, many things. And if I've learned anything, it's being present in the moment is more important than all of that, because all of that's in the past. It's hard to do. I mean, I've not done it myself. But the important thing for me is, how am I right at this moment? And you're practicing with Sangha, walking the path of Dhamma. How much better could it get?
I just want to say thank you for doing this.
The sound is a little bit funny on the microphone. I don't know if there's the way they're holding it or what it is, but
Can maybe if you could
kind of
speak
hard
up
to
a little?
hear.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, it's not really going through at all.
Okay, we'll trade again.
We don't, it's okay.
Oh,
That's what's in here, actually.
looks like a baby rabbit's foot. It's giving me good luck. Thank you.
It's a snail.
It's a snail. I just want to thank everybody for being here and doing this with me and for me and for each other. I don't know what I've been noticing lately is it's really hard for me to talk after I meditate. I just kind of like to not talk too much. So thank you.
Thank you.
No. Trent?
No, I don't. Say it away.
We're good?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, I guess that's it. Would you like to dedicate merit tonight, Amy?
Sure, got that. Sounds good. So we'll just once again find ourselves in a seated position, and taking some breaths. May our practice tonight may the teachings of the Dharma, may they infuse into our skin and our bones, into our heart and our organs. And may they allow us to show up with clear eyes and skillful action, with metta and kindness infusing, patience and energy to show up with courage and kindness. And may that courage and kindness, may it resonate onto our lives. May the influence of this practice and that courage and kindness, may it spread out to all the trees, all the animals, all the plants, all the humans in our lives and beyond. May all beings be courageous and kind and see clearly. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Thank you all for your practice.
Thanks, Amy. So good to have you here.
Good to be here. We're getting there. Just a few little things still, but we're getting there. Thank you for all your effort, Bob.
And thank you for hanging in there. Perseverance. Couple of snails climbing Mount Fuji.
Awesome. All right. Take care.